Hey there, math students. Today's going to be a little bit of a review day. Today we are going to be talking about how to simplify fractions. So this is your assignment right here. It's just 8 problems. I thought I'd keep it short and sweet for you. And I'm going to make some notes at the bottom of the page. So if you have this printed out, go down to the bottom of your page. If you don't have it printed out, you know that's totally fine to use your own paper and just copy it down. So you can just copy your notes onto whatever paper you have there. Okay, so I have a few things written for us here. Simplifying or reducing fractions. Just want to make sure you know that they mean the same thing. Simplifying fractions is the same thing as reducing fractions. Depending on what teachers you've had before, you might have heard different words for the same thing. I also wrote ratios here in parentheses because ratios are basically fractions, right? And they can be reduced or simplified in the exact same way. So here's our steps. Step 1. Divide the numerator and denominator, that's the top number and the bottom number on that fraction. Divide them by the same number. And then step 2, repeat if necessary. So we're keeping those steps short and sweet. Let's go ahead and look at example number 1 here. All right, so for example number 1, we have 9 over 12. Now, first of all, let's think about what number can go evenly into 9 and into 12. I'm thinking, let's see, 12 is divisible by 2, but 9 is not divisible by 2, so let's not do 2. What if we did 3? 12 is also divisible by 3, and 9 is divisible by 3. So that's what we're going to use. Let's do the top number first, like this. So 9 divided by 3, and what is 9 divided by 3? That's going to equal 3. And now we have to divide that bottom number by the same thing. So basically we're dividing by 3 on the top and on the bottom. It has to be the same number. So 12 divided by 3 is going to give us 4. All right, so now let's ask ourselves if we need to do this second step, which is repeat if necessary. Are there any numbers that 3 is divisible by, that 4 is also divisible by? Nah, 3 is divisible by 1 and 3, and that's it. And 4 is divisible by 1 and 2 and 4, and that's it. So they don't really share any common factors except for 1. And if you divide them both by 1, well, you'll still wind up with 3/4, just the same answer. So we are done here, and this is your final answer for 9/12. Okay, let's do another one. Number 2, 4/8. Okay, so now think about some numbers that 4 is divisible by and 8 is divisible by. Okay, so factors of 4, you have 1, 2, and 4. 4 can be divided evenly by any of those numbers. What about 8? It's divisible by 1, 2, 4, and 8. So there are a couple of different numbers that we said for both of those. We said 2 for both of them, and we said 4 for both of them. Which one do you want to use? It's really your call. Here, I'll show you both ways. So if we divide both by 4, let's start with the bigger number first. And just a hint, it's actually fewer steps if you divide by a bigger number, but that doesn't mean it's necessary. You can do it whichever way you want to do it. So we're dividing both the top and the bottom number by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. And so that gives us an answer of 1/2. Which is fully simplified. Anytime you get one of those numbers down to 1, you know it's definitely fully simplified. Now let's just go ahead and do it the other way too. What if we did everything divided by 2? So I'm rewriting my problem, and let's divide everything by 2. Okay, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, this is good, but this is where step 2 comes into play, repeat if necessary, because both of these numbers are still divisible by 2. So you're just going to do it again. So 2 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then you get your final answer. You notice they give you the same answer. It's just a different process. Sometimes when you're working with bigger numbers, you might find yourself dividing 2 or even 3 times, and that's totally fine. You just keep going at it until it's fully simplified. Let's look at this example number 3. Okay, you have 52 over 26. Well, let's see, I can't really think of many factors of these numbers because they're not really common numbers on our times tables, but I'm looking at them and they're both even numbers, right? So I know they're both divisible by 2. Let's just go ahead and do that for starters. Okay, so dividing them both by 2. Let's see, 52 divided by 2 is, and you're welcome to use a calculator if you need to, that's going to be 26. And 26 divided by 2 is going to be 13. Okay, so now let's look at this again. Can it be simplified anymore? Well, we can't divide it by 2 again because 13 is not divisible by 2. But do you notice, do any of you know what 13 times 2 is? 13 times 2 is actually 26. So we can divide both of these by 13. So let's divide by 13. So 13 times 2 equals 26. That means that 26 divided by 13 equals 2. So we'll put a 2 on top. And any number divided by itself, like 13 divided by 13, is going to equal 1. So that one, we're going to get a final answer of 2 over 1. If you were simplifying a fraction, you could write this just as a 2. But if you're doing a ratio, make sure you keep both numbers. So you want to have that top number and that bottom number there. You would not want to just write 2. Okay? All right, let's go on to this last example. We have 45 over 60. Okay, so I know that when a number ends in a 5 or a 0, it's divisible by 5. So let's just divide both of these by 5. So dividing the top and the bottom by 5. 45 divided by 5, let's see, 9 times 5 is 45, so it's going to be a 9. 60 divided by 5, let's see, 5 times 12 is 60, so we've got 12. And again, if you need to grab a calculator to work these things out, totally fine, okay? Now you ask yourself, are we fully simplified? Well, no, we're not. And in fact, this is starting to look a whole lot like this problem. So let's just solve it the same way. Both of these numbers are divisible by 3, so we're going to divide that numerator and that denominator by 3, and that's going to leave us with 3 over 4. And then we're fully simplified. And we're done. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, this is your assignment up here, just these 8 problems. Take them one step at a time. It's okay if you have to multiply 3 different times to get them simplified. All that matters is that you get the answer in the end. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.